As I look out over the room, I'm heartened to see so many young people in the field. If you've never seen me before, I'm even happier, because that means that there is a new cadre of leaders coming in. And just as we must look after the young people in programs, I believe that we're duty-bound to look after the young people who are working in the programs. So I'm a man on a mission. I'm a man on a mission because the status quo that most people got comfortable with morphed into the status woe. And just as Brother Serge said, there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity to look at a threat and to reconfigure it. And I believe that PASE is on pace and trying to keep the pace with a problem that is running wild. So, beloved, for the time that is mine, and I want y'all to get back to wherever you want to get back to, so I'm gonna move. Is that all right? I have to honor my daughters over there from Mentoring in Medicine, one of my programs that I am happy to be an advisor and to raise money for. It's good to raise money for a good cause. And so here we go. When Yvonne was talking to me about this event and what my role would be, and she said, well, we gave you a title, but we know that that's not going to be the title, but if you come up with one, we'll put it in there. And if you looked in your beautifully designed packets of information, it says the fierce urgency of now. Now, some of you may think Fonzo is waxing poetic, but this actually came from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And I believe that that statement came because as much as things change, they remain the same. Oh yeah, there's trouble. Trouble has been trouble as long as trouble's been trouble. And trouble is not new. Trouble is not new, and trouble does not take the time to go through the trouble to ask for permission to be trouble. I can't believe I'm in this troubling motif here, but I'll back up out of it in a minute. So if you see trouble, you just know that you are looking at what you're looking at, and it is exactly doing what it is designed to do. But that's why gatherings of this manner is real important. That's why it's important to begin to look at our practice. I have 4-5 decades of doing this work. And do you know, beloved, that some of it, I could just transport it back 30, 40 years, and we'd be talking about the same thing. I see Janet Kelly bobbing her head over there. We got a few dinosaurs in here. That somehow the cosmic rays did not kill. So here is the fierce urgency of now. I'm just going to go right down a list. I'm going to go right down a list of things that I think that it's important to understand in terms of the pressing times that we're in and times ahead. The thing that I want to tell you, and we heard about hope, I call myself a merchant of hope. I've called myself a merchant of hope for decades, because without the ability to hope, you cannot have the basis for change. First, hope. Now, some people who've never had to have hope think that people who do hope are hopeless. And they write them off, and they talk about them. Oh, look at those hopeless people over there. But let me tell you something, without that hope, without that glimmer, without that seed, without that ability to say that I can do more in my life, then change will not happen. So I'm a merchant of hope, beloved. I'm a merchant of hope that sails the seas of despair. I'm a merchant of hope, beloved, and I don't have an ocean liner. I don't have all of the accoutrements that would help me to be successful. I get in a raggedy boat and go out and effect rescue. Merchants of hope are not understood in the broader society because some want to go to the yacht club. And now there was a word I remember in the 8th grade that I came across, and now on the way up the elevator, it came back to me. It was the word oligarchy. Some of you know what I'm talking about. The oligarchists in the midst look at merchants of hope as people who really haven't found their niche in life, who will look askance on folk who care about other people. I am blessed to work with folk and other people's children. They're not my children, but I learned a long time ago that if you treat them like they were your child, if you dealt with them as if there was a connection other than to a paycheck, then something is going to happen. I'm talking to merchants of hope right now, regardless of where you've come from the inner city, out of the city, and from the hood, from wherever you've come from rural areas, from places where the biggest activity is night tipping cows. Y'all didn't think Fonzo knew about that. If you work with young people and you don't have a sense of humor, you in the wrong business. I was at a very staid church the other day, and I said, I know some of y'all want to know, where did they get this dude from? I thank God for my young people, because one of the things that I didn't know in terms of a benefit that I would get even at this age is that I can still hit a flow. I was doing a mannequin challenge. I got to make myself laugh because I will drive myself crazy. I almost drove myself crazy in my youth because I wanted so much for my young people. And I saw the apathy. I saw the array of forces against our young people that sometimes it became dispiriting. But I want you to know that the whole can be greater than the sum of its parts. I want you to know that when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. I want you to know that there is a greater good, a higher good, when you are on the side of the angels, that you got a power and you got an ability to perfect and to perform this work. You did not choose to be here. I'm not talking about to be here in this program. I'm talking about to be here to do the work that you were doing. You were summoned, you were called, you were wooed, you were pushed over, you were kicked in. And let me tell you something. You're going to spend your life repaying the kindness that somebody gave to you. Somebody opened a door for you. Somebody made a way out of no way for you. There is nothing deep about being a merchant of hope. You don't ask for credentials. You don't ask for forms. You don't ask, well, how much hope do you need? If it's in you to give, then you give it. You give it abundantly, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, because hope is something that will never run out. Are you with me? Y'all look like y'all looking at TV. One of the things that I want to tell you that it's important. Stop chasing smoke and put out the fire. A lot of what we do are smoke chasers. I'm going to give one of my street. Classic example. I was at a barbecue, a picnic. Horsham, where's Horsham? He's here somewhere. I was at a picnic, and a young man walks by and his pants is down behind, under the line. And there were three women. We were engaged in conversation, and as he passed by them, they became the Greek chorus. They said, "Boy, you need to pull up your pants." Smoke. I told my sisters, his pants are not his primary problem. But if we could ever figure out how to get him to pull up his mind, his pants will follow. Fire. I'm a consultant with a whole lot of folk. Some of them don't even know I'm their consultant. Them the ones that don't pay me. They just want to, well, what do you think about this, Fonzo? I'm a consultant with the Campaign for Black Male Achievement, which was the predecessor of My Brother's Keeper. I was also the chair of the 21st Century Foundation, which was the predecessor before My Brother's Keeper that started a lot of the black men and boys' work in this country in the early 90s. Not too many people know that. I say this to say that there is a national movement. If you see yourself parochially, if you see yourself just as your little program, if you see yourself as the only, the last giant standing, or whatever metaphor works for your mind, you're going to become a dinosaur. We've got to figure out how to turn moving into a movement. And with research, with practitioners, and with new partnerships. I started working with the police. Isn't that right, Ms. Allison? I started inviting people down to One Police Plaza, the headquarters. Hi, Joshua, I didn't see you back there. I almost called you something else, but I saw that look in your eye. I invited Joshua. I invited people down because I figured if we're going to have to figure out how to work together. And new times, new problems, you cannot solve new problems with old solutions or doing the same thing over and over again. So now we have new partnerships. And we're beginning to impact this hierarchical paramilitary organization. It's got to start somewhere. And it starts with each and every one of you. I want you to know, beloved, that hard times or troubling times are not new. For the person that saw the sun rise for the first time, they could say, "Ooh, I'm glad I saw that," as if it's not going to happen again, or as if it did not happen before. One of the things, young people, my young people, that you're going to have to deal with, and we're all dealing with it, but I think it's going to impact, particularly for those who will be in this field a lot longer than others. And that is witnessing the death of truth. Anytime fake news can be taken as the news, we're in trouble. Anytime the truth that does not owe allegiance to party, to socioeconomic background or status, or educational attainment or lack thereof, the truth is the truth. And anytime the truth is pilloried to the extent that it no longer matters, then we are all in a reality show where we choose sides, where we begin to try to figure out who is the fake truth. Somebody's talked about fake, I think that was you, Romney. Somebody talked about fake truth right up in here. We're going to have to hold true. We're going to have to understand that if there is no enemy inside, then the enemy outside can never harm us. So as I get ready to go to my seat, because I do follow direction, the fierce urgency of now is calling. It's calling us out of our protocols. It's calling us out of our comfort zones. It's calling us, I remember at Howard University, I wanted to throw that in. When I took humanities and found out about the sirens and how their call, their evocative call, was able to pull people to sudden destruction. We're going to get us some earmuffs. We're going to make sure that if somebody is sliding, that we're going to prop them up, not just in our organization, but across organizations. We're going to let some folk know that there is a thing called sociopathic narcissism, and that we will not succumb to it. That our charge is to be light in dark places. I'm a writer. I thank God for Brother Blake. I didn't know he was going to give me that shout out, because if I'd known, I would have had my books right here. But I want to give you something that was given to me when I was searching for me. And it seems like it was given, Paul, for a time such as this. Came to me in like 19, well, I ain't going to even say in the 19, just the fact it was in the 19. That may be enough. And beloved, I dedicate this to you. Now, I'm going to get a little dramatic, so don't call the NYU police on me. The title of the work is The Enlightenment. Children of the light, heed this urgent call. Use thine power over darkness. Stumble, never fall. Illume dark corners in all hearts and minds. Share the precious flame, the tie that binds. Hatred is thine enemy, and ignorance another foe. So band together small flames wherever ye may go. There is strength in number. Remember, ye are light, and every flicker is a wound to darkness. This our eternal fight. And he drops the mic.